are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I would argue that a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
It's the concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegation.
This lady already started out disingenuous. She already started pointing blame, and as an interviewer, you're supposed to be in a neutral ground and a neutral footing asking these type of questions. Let's go on and continue and see what happens.
Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. Firstly, let's begin let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned, the rape one's already been thrown out by a judge because there's no evidence of it. Secondly, it's very difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in the territory of Romania about a legal case that's going on within Romania. I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible, but I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
There are no charges yet.
Correct, there are no charges.
Has said that
there are no charges, and I've agreed to speak to you.
Look at how she's going into this. Like, she's like, there's no charges yet. He's like, there are no charges. Whatever charges that they already had against me, they threw it out. There's a reason why this man is already on house arrest and he's back because they couldn't find anything. I tell you one thing, if this man was literally guilty for how bad they really want this man incarcerated, I think him and his brother would have been incarcerated still right about now.
Freedom at last. There is 0% chance of me being found guilty of something I have not done.
So let's talk about what you've said yourself then. You have said on the website, for your original website for the Hustlers University, that you emotionally manipulated women to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
As I said, I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me and accusing me of doing it.
She didn't even say at the very beginning of this video, well, Mr. Tate, how are you doing? How's your mental state? You already came in with the agenda. She's already like, yeah, you're doing this. Let's talk about this and what's happened. There's nothing factual. She's not a case. You are an interviewer. She should be coming in with the questions, asking what people really and truly want to know.
I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past to file criminal charges against me, and I will fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. What you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
I have an organization called Tate Pledge, which you can see. Go to CobraTate.com and click at Tate Pledge, and you will see that I dedicate $25 million a year to feeding children, both male and female, in war-torn countries. I would like to think that even the legacy media can agree that feeding children in Sudan, or Turkish children after an earthquake, or Syrian children in refugee camps is a pretty positive thing to do for the world.
So what we can see here is actually Andrew Tate has donated to charity over the past few years when it comes down to actually helping out children or disaster areas throughout the world. But there's so many agendas that are getting pushed out now that Andrew also speaks of that is actually affecting the youth.
Oh, I'm infinitely powerful. There's one thing I cannot do that I wish I could do, and that would be to Aikido myself back in time by about 5 years. And for the last 5 years, stick with one chick instead of 10. And compare my achievements now if I had one girl compared to what they actually currently are when I had all those girls. And you will see, even though I am the most successful man on the face of the planet, even though I have one, because all competition's easy, if I only had one chick, I'd be up here.
Since this reporter wants to keep on saying how bad he hates women or go around and sleep around with all women and whatnot, he did say that high value men have that option and they can actually go ahead and choose to sleep with multiple women. But here you'll sit here and definitely see that he's stating that if he had one woman, which there's plenty of huge multi-millionaire and billionaires, some of them did divorce some of those individuals and got half of their riches, but that's for another later video.
You are accusing me, I'm guessing, what you're trying to say is you're accusing me, you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of and I'm emotionally manipulating. The only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous, destructive levels of investigation and prodding into my life, is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
Yo, this lady really is trying to probe to get Andrew and back him up into a corner so she could get the type of information she wants so they could spin things off when it comes down to creating the video that the BBC wants to do. I can see why Andrew himself took out another camera and actually recorded this whole entire interview. That way he can actually protect himself with his current footage.
I'm telling the youth to think outside the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs, because I'm a religious man, and traditional beliefs in regards to marriage, which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful.
Yo, this interviewer is completely rude, talking over him, not letting the dialogue go back and forth. Andrew tries to move on to a different topic that has an ongoing case. She wants to stay on the ongoing case and try to push this narrative. She's talking about older videos where this man is doing satire content, especially in his shorts and clips, where he's saying outrageous things like this.
We're definitely not equal.
I would have fought.
Men are protectors.
I would have. You weren't doing shit behind me.
I'm a black belt. I'm a black belt in
I ain't
Taekwondo.
fighting. I got my strap in my
I'm a
bag.
Taekwondo black belt.
Taekwondo.
You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Then why are you there? Like, there's no other reason for you to be there. You're not going to answer his questions. He's answering your questions to the best of his ability.
Then we need to change the dynamic of this interview because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals, we are people, we're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo, and that you don't have to answer my questions, is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no.
However you want.
This is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me.
Yo, they had to stop the interview several times, like this.
This is also not.
Or like this. Look, y'all can actually look here and see how piss poor this interviewer was treating Andrew Tate.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach. You teach that a woman, if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her off.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt.
Flashback.
One pussy-ass dude once said to me, yeah, but if it's next to your bed, what if you, like, upset a girl and she catches you cheating and gives you a machete? What would a woman do? Slap the machete, slap her in the face, one hand, machete, and a backhand.
End of flashback.
Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. I'm sure you're a fantastic person. But if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist. I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh shit, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context.
Absolutely right. As soon as somebody starts talking about men's rights or man stuff, like apparently it's misogynistic. Censorship, shadow ban, suppressing this type of content always happens, which actually, by the way, if you're still here and you're enjoying this content, please drop a like down below or subscribe to the channel. It really helps out for the channel to grow and actually be able to push out positive messages, especially for men.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old YouTube snippets? Don't you think that would be interesting?
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think
the rape allegation
it's been dropped?
Has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm incarcerated without charge, and I think that'd be a far more interesting conversation than I guess Julian Assange is incarcerated without charge, and nobody's interested in that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism and investigation, you could talk about the fact that an innocent man who is yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty deprived of him. And I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world because I own a car.
And this question about schools being very worried about your influence.
Yes.
Boys in primary school, or boys as young as 11 are quoting you at school, attacking girls, refusing to respect female teachers. Would you like to say anything about that?
I'd like to say a lot. First things first, as I've repeatedly said, and the only reason I keep repeating it is because I'm sure this interview will be edited. I am a positive force for the world, and I teach children discipline. I teach the world discipline, male or female, of any age, and a lot of women listen to me as well. 40% of the people who listen to me are actually female. Secondly, I do understand with my massive influence, and I am now the one of the most influential people on the planet, that I do have to be slightly more careful with things I say. I'm not going to disagree with that. The idea that I said something 5 years ago on a video that got 300 views.
And this whole idea of being toxically masculine is absolutely garbage. Nobody's toxically, listen, you're not gonna call me toxically masculine if someone breaks in the house and I start spraying. No one's gonna start calling me toxically masculine. No, there was no one called toxically masculine when they were fucking staying on the Titanic to die, right? The whole thing is garbage, and it's just by women who are bitter and jealous, trying to insult and demonize men for being natural to their instinct.
Finding a 4-hour-long podcast from 2016, ignoring all context, ignoring everything positive I say about men and women and the world, and taking a single sentence and trying to pretend that's my entire worldview is not the bombshell you think it is. Plus, the people who know the truth of my message are very capable of understanding what is satirical and what is true. In the interest of spreading good and positivity in the world, which is my #1 objective, I am making this clear to all legacy media outlets. I will no longer interact with you for free. Nobody cares that you lie about me, and nobody cares what you say. You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly lying about everything. And continuing to lie about me will only destroy your credibility. I no longer have any interest with interacting with the legacy media for free, because I don't want their extremist views shown to young children without doing some good for the world. My fee from this point onwards is $50,000 and a box of chocolate. That is what it is going to cost you to speak to me. If you are from the Matrix, you will give me $50,000 in advance, which will be donated to Tate Pledge, which will be used to feed children in war-torn countries. And you will also bring a box of chocolates to my gate, which I will ingest as I listen to your Matrix propaganda and destroy you